Hello, Cancer, and welcome to your reading. This is for Cancer suns, moons, and or risings. Very nice to have you here. I am sorry for getting out this late, but that's okay. Cancers are very emotional. I love my water signs. I have a few friends that are water signs, and I tend to get along with water signs pretty well, just as a general concept. My best friend is actually a water sign, fire sign cusp for her son, so it's really funny. And then I think if you get more detailed, she would have been, it would be her moon too. So one of the water signs is her moon as well. So yeah, all right, so this is the basic layout here. I'm going to go over each of these one by one, and we'll go over everything. Here is the main energy of the month. So everything that I talk about here is going to relate back to this. So this is going to basically be the overall energy, what you need to know and stuff like that. I know if you're currently in the middle of something, hopefully it will make sense. And it's basically like just this is what could resolve it, or this is what is the main message of this moon. So let's see what's going on here. Okay. Discementing moon. Take time to breathe out. That's very important. A lot of times with stresses and stuff like that, people sometimes forget that they just need a time to breathe and catch their breath and just be like, I'm okay, everything's good. I mean, I feel that too, like with the stresses and everything going on in my life, you know, it's sometimes nice to remember to just take some time to breathe and just take a moment, because if you forget to breathe, you sometimes forget how to function properly, and that's when things go bad. So that looks like it's going to be the overall theme. So let's see what's going to go on with that, and hopefully we can figure out everything that we need to know. So next up, sorry, I'm just going to move this. Don't mind me. So we'll go to this first card here. This first card here is love. So this could be a person that you love, your love life in general, or it could be something that you're passionate about. If you're not focusing in on your love life, that is perfectly okay. It could also be something that just drives your heart. It's just something you're passionate about, something that makes you feel fiery and stuff like that. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, you've got Three of Scrolls, and it's in reverse. Setting your course. Give me 1 second. So this talks about you perhaps not looking forward ahead enough, or giving yourself the freedom to move forward, or potentially like a disagreement with someone that might end up with a breakup, or having things change and be canceled on you. So this is one of those cards that is very kind of icky to have for a relationship, because it's basically saying that there's miscommunication and there's lots of problems with moving forward in that situation. And at that point, you need to really take a moment to think, is it worth it, or should I just change my course entirely and break it off, or anything like that. So say if you are in a relationship, this is basically telling you you might need to change something or break up entirely, because there's something just, especially with miscommunication and stuff like that, if you guys aren't communicating correctly, this could lead to be a consistent problem in your relationship. If you are single, it might mean something of a friendship rather than a relationship, because there's lots of different types of love, including platonic love or familial love. So you might be miscommunicating with someone that you attach to on that level. That includes potentially ruining a friendship or a relationship with a family member or something like that, especially due to miscommunication. If it's a passion, it might be time to like take a moment and rethink how you want to do it, because say you are an artist and you are trying to work on being an artist, but something's not working out for you, or you're feeling like a failure with your work or anything like that, it might be a time to rethink on how you work with your medium, or maybe change your directory of what art you're working on to see if that will affect things for you. That's a very interesting placement right there. So basically, miscommunication, mishandling of things that it could cause an issue. Take time to breathe out. So what this card basically is stating, especially in this situation, is don't rush into anything yet. Don't panic. Don't go, oh my God, I gotta do this now. No. Take time to breathe, because when you're in a state of heightened anxiety or heightened thought processes and stuff like that, and you're not taking a moment to just breathe some clarity into your life, you're going to make stupid decisions. I do that all the time, so I should know. It's telling you that you need to take a moment to really consider what this is trying to tell you to do, and maybe even like take a breather and be like, goose fraba, and then talk to someone, or talk to the person that is involved, or even just talk to a friend to see like, hey, what do you think? Or just take a breath and then be like, okay, so I've made my decision. I've weighed my pros and cons. What's the next course of action? So taking time to breathe out, just take a moment and really reflect on it. Really take a second and make sure that you're not just jumping into a decision just because it's your instinct. Follow your instincts, but make sure that your instinct isn't coming out of a place of fear or a place of panic. So just take a moment. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is your money. This is anything that is considered financial, so your actual like finances, or it could be something that is self-sustaining to you, something that helps you get through the days, helps you get through everything. So this could be anything that makes you feel like you can get through everything. So let's see what's going on here. Oh, interesting. Got 2 reverses so far. This is number 19, reflection in reverse, major arcana. So this is probably something you'll need to really focus your energy on. Let's see what's going to say. It's going to say here. Okay, so it's basically saying that there's a lot of rockiness going on here. There's a lot of troubled like waters. Like imagine you are on a boat and it's a storm, and so the waves are extra strong and billowing. It's basically that feeling of just I have no control. This is a problem. It's throwing my life into chaos. I'm barely hanging on as it is. It also talks about an emotional turmoil with it. So basically how you're relating to it. It's kind of rocky. It's kind of rough. It's not really keeping together well. It's also talking about potentially like downcasting you over. So you might feel like you're drowning at this point. You probably feel like you're underwater and just barely like catching your breath, and if you're catching your breath at all. That's important, because if your self-preservation instinct is not feeling 100%, that's definitely going to cause issues with how you deal with things. It's going to really affect you. And as a Cancer, you're prone to emotional levels like affecting you because you're a water sign. Water signs are ruled by their emotions, just like air signs. So the 4 signs basically have things that drive them. Air signs are driven by their dreams. Earth signs are driven by practicality and their thoughts and their intellect. Fire signs are driven by their passion, and water signs are driven by their emotions. It's not a bad thing to be an emotional person. That's never the problem. The problem is if you let your emotions control you rather than work with you. So you might be feeling very troubled and very scared right now, and you're probably barely hanging on here, which makes sense. It's a pandemic. There's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of people that are struggling. The unemployment situation here in the States is at an all-time high. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of craziness. So it's okay to feel that little bit of turmoil and that little bit of upset about that. That's not a problem. Don't worry about that. The main thing is like you have to really take a moment to take care of this. Don't forget to take a breath out. Think about what you need to do here. Think about what this means. Don't be afraid to take a second to step back and just breathe. You might be on fight or flight mode, especially if you feel like you're drowning with your finances. Take a moment and reflect. Okay, this is what's happening. This is what I'm dealing with. Don't worry. I'm going to fix this, but it's a lot right now. Just take a breath. Make sure that you take some time to think about it. Think about what you can change. Are you as frugal as you thought you were being, or could you be a little bit more frugal? Don't be too frugal. Sometimes when you get too frugal, you lose a lot of passion in your life and it ends up going down this little spiral. But really take a moment to think, how are my finances doing? How are my self-preservation portions doing? Am I taking care of myself? Am I giving myself time to sleep? Am I giving myself time to breathe and take care of myself and make sure I'm going through each day? Because when you're drowning and stuff like that, you're instantly in a flight or fight mode, and it's hard to get yourself grounded, especially when it's something as big as your finances or how you stay alive kind of thing. I completely understand. So just take a moment, take some breaths. We should be able to get an answer for this semi soon because of the next upcoming signs. Maybe we can get some ideas that you can work with. We'll get back to this at some point. But let's move on to the next one. This is your work. So this could be a full-time job. It could be volunteer work. It could be school work if you're a student. Or maybe if you're a stay-at-home parent, maybe it's your at-home life, okay? Let's see what's going on here. Oh, 3 of Keys. This is the second 3 you've gotten so far. 3 of Keys, the chess game. Let's see what this has to say. Okay, so this is not the most pleasant card to have in this position. It talks about basically 2 people against each other. It talks about conflict, whether that's a social conflict or a conflict of interest or a political conflict of some sort. It's causing disruption in your work. So think about it like this. If you're working at a job and it basically is like you versus this other person, that's a problem because it's not supposed to be that. You're supposed to be working together, but it's coming off to be like this. So you could be dealing with a interpersonal, like work relationship fiasco here that's just like, that's not good. It's not positive. And it might be with someone who's a coworker of you. It might be someone who's your boss. It might be a manager and stuff like that. And if you're in school, it could be one of your teachers. It could be a fellow student, or like the school itself, like the administration. It also could mean stuff like if you're a stay-at-home parent, it could mean your friends and your family that are supposed to be there to support you while you are being a stay-at-home parent might be causing a big conundrum in your life. And the advice that it's giving you here is to kind of take a step back. Now, when I say step back, that doesn't mean quit. That definitely is not what it means. It means take a step back and assess what can be done in this situation. Quitting could be an option. If this is a job that's just not going to get better, you need to take some time and assess what's going on and why it's going on and how you can change it. If quitting is an option, then that is definitely an option to have on the table. But it doesn't mean to quit. It means take a step back and really assess what's going on here. Take an assessment on yourself, take an assessment on the people around you. And if there is trouble, if the trouble is starting from the people around you instead of just you, then maybe it would be time to quit a job. There's just a lot of struggling here, and you need to really think about your plans for the future, and you really need to brainstorm about them, because if you can't solve this problem here, quitting would be the best option. But don't rush into anything. It's saying to take a step back and just keep an eye on it. Take time to breathe out. It's basically telling you that. It's showing that you need a moment to get some mental clarity. Don't let your emotions rule you. Allow yourself to take a step back and think, okay, so what do I need to change here? What is it that needs to be changed? Is there any way that I can remedy this or adjust things in my schedule or something like that to help me so that I can get through this? You can even ask for help from people outside of you. You can take a moment, but be sure to go in with complete mental clarity. Don't let your emotions rule you into making decisions that you're not ready to make, because that is the last thing that you need, especially in a situation where you might need to strategize. And especially with your finances kind of being the way you are, the way that you're self-persevering, being in trouble and stuff like that, you don't want to just quit a job unless it really isn't doing anything for you. really take a moment to think, okay, so what does this mean? How will this affect this? And all of this, really. It's very much in conflict here. You're very much in a time of conflict at this time, especially with yourself. So it's time to take a breath. Take a moment and breathe some mental clarity into the situation, and you'll figure it out. It's saying that you just need to think and strategize about this. Maybe it's time to change a profession. Maybe it's time to go back to school. Maybe it's time for you to start working again if you're a stay-at-home parent. Really take a moment and strategize how you can change this. You might not even need to, excuse me, you might not even need to leave a job in order to fix this. You might just need to find a way to work with the people that are around you, or find a way to make it noticeable. But you can't do it with emotions flaring. You need to take a moment before you do that. Pardon me, Lord. Okay, let's move on to the next one and see what's going on here. This is your health. This could be your physical or mental health that's going on here. It also could be your personal health, like who you are as a person, how are you feeling, and how you're relating to the situation around you. Let's see what's going on. Oh, Oracle of Delphi. I know this card pretty well. It's telling you that you are in internal conflict. Your mental health isn't doing the best right now because you're not listening to the voice inside your head. If anything, you're just going with the emotions of the people around you. Some of you can be empaths. I'm definitely getting the sense that this could be empaths not listening to their instincts and stuff like that, and just going with the flow of the emotions that are around you rather than for yourself. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't think that this means that nothing's fixable or anything like that, but this is primarily stating that your mental health is not doing the best that it can be because you're not listening to your personal intuition, but the intuition of those around you. Especially with all these situations here going on, it's definitely causing you a problem to your mental health, and it's keeping you from being able to progress further. Taking time to breathe out. Yep. Take a moment, and if you meditate on your life as a whole and think about what that means and what that could signify. Like, what is your intuition telling you? If you are an intuitive person and you rely on your intuition for a lot of things, you might have been ignoring it for a while. Just take a moment and really think about it. You look like you're very much just in turmoil at this point. Poor Cancer. I'm sorry, Cancers. I don't want you to be in turmoil. I want you to take care of yourselves. So, yeah, take a moment and really think about what your voice is trying to tell you, what you're trying to understand, but go into it with a moment of clarity rather than in a wave of an emotion, because both of them are used to make decisions all the time, but only the moment of clarity is the one that you should trust. Oh my goodness. I'm hoping that your spirit one is going to look a little bit better. Let's see what's going on with your spirit. This is how you at your core, how it is driving you, your basically how all of this is affecting you personally, as well as how you affect it and what your soul is telling you. Let's see what it says. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you got one of scrolls on track. That's a very interesting card to have there, because that talks about making the decision and being on track with your life. That is fascinating. Okay. Oh, it's just that it's saying that you've got the answer all along. You know what you were supposed to do, what you are supposed to do, and it's telling you that you know the answer. You've just got to make the choice. And in a time where you're in so much turmoil, it's sometimes hard to see that decision, that road ahead, and making sure that you're on track with things. Man, That's kind of intense. Woo! Cancers, you've got the choice in front of you. You know what you need to do. You know what needs to happen in all these areas in your life, but you're in so much turmoil with all of this here that you're not thinking about that answer, or you're delaying that answer because it's like, well, why would I make that choice now when I can't even afford things? Or why would I listen to this voice here about this when there's this miscommunication going on here, or that the fact that my work is literally a dog eat dog kind of world. It's telling you that you do have the answer. You do have the ability to make that right decision, but you're just not listening to it. It's there. Your soul is driving you to the correct spot that you need to be. Take time to breathe out. Definitely, you need a moment to really think about what you want with your life and understand what it is what this choice is. What's the choice here? What are you trying to pursue? What is it telling you that you need to do? Really think about that. That's a very important thought. You need time to breathe and let the emotions settle and be like, okay, so if I were to make this decision tomorrow, what would it be? Or if I were to start planning for my 5-year plan, what's it going to look like? You need to take that moment of clarity to figure this out, because your turmoil isn't going to help you see it. Your soul is telling you the choice is obvious. Just take a moment to step away from the turmoil and see what that is. And then figure out from there what you need to do. Man, Cancers, I'm so sorry you're in such turmoil and that's so problematic, but just take a moment to breathe and you'll figure out what you need to do next. Let's get some advice for you, let's say. Cards, Cancers in such turmoil and such pain, but their choice is obvious to them if they just take a moment. Is there any advice that they should have? Any place that they should start looking? Anything that they need to remember? Oh, this card here is starting to pop out. I'm trying not to disrupt the rest of them. There we go. Oh, fascinating. You got the Star in reverse. I'm going to read this out to you, and it should give you an advice. You lack faith in yourself and the universe. Go within to reconnect with your inner source of inspiration and guidance rather than looking for signs outside of yourself. Boom. What did I tell ya? Sorry, I didn't mean to throw. Sorry. What did I tell you? You are not trusting yourself right now. You need to go within and figure this out. You're not going to get the rest of the world to help you figure this out. This is all on you. This is what you need to do. In summation, your passion or the love is having a miscommunication problem, and you might be on the brink of choosing whether to break it off or fixing something. The two things that you need to focus on the most are your mental health and your stability here. You're feeling a wave of emotion and you're feeling like you're drowning, but you're also ignoring your inner voice telling you what you need to do. You're feeling confused and short-sighted and stuff like that, and the voice that is telling you this is not right, you're completely ignoring it, being like, but I have to survive. Your work situation you need to strategize on. You need to figure out what that is supposed to look like. You can't keep up with this conflict going on here. And you've got the answer. You just have to make the choice. As for your numbers, 3s and 1s are significant to you. So either 1 or 3 or 11, 13, 33, or 31. Those are important numbers. And 9, I think it's a double digit, so it's probably 13, 33, or 31 that probably has the most significance to you. Take some time to breathe out. Take a moment to really think about what that means and give yourself a moment of clarity and go within. This is telling you to go within, just like this card is telling you. Take a moment to breathe out and think, what is it that I need? What is it that I want? And trust your instincts, okay? Only in that moment of clarity will you figure it out. Well, Cancers, I'm sorry that this ended kind of in a turmoil. This month is kind of like a problem month for you, but hopefully you'll listen to that soul of yours and get yourself back on track. If you are ever in need for a personal, more in-depth reading about what's going on here or anything like that, you can always reach out to me at one of my social medias down below. I try to respond pretty quickly. I usually respond within 48 hours. Excuse me. I usually respond within 48 hours, if not much quicker than that. And I am always open to do things with you. And you can even purchase readings off of my shop on Facebook. That's also down there. And if this reading resonated with you or you liked how it turned out, hit that like button and comment down below on how it resonated with you. I love hearing stories. I love seeing things that resonates with people. So this is something important for you. And it makes me feel good to see any sort of clarity that it gave you as well. And if you liked this video and want to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you can get notified. I publish videos every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the workload I have. And I try to keep consistent as much as possible. I hope that you guys have a good rest of your February, and I hope that you get the answers that you are looking for within yourself. Not anyone else, yourself. Bye, Cancer.